I'm reasonably, cautiously optimistic, and the challenge is that market-based mechanisms are not universally popular. There is a feeling that somehow putting a price on carbon, by extension putting a price on nature, ecosystem services, is at odds with having a secure climate for everyone. But I think the reality has shown, even with the early emissions trading, carbon credit markets that came out of the Kyoto Protocol, that they can achieve much higher levels of environmental ambition. With the right safeguards in place, they can also help assure communities that higher degrees of environmental protection, higher degrees of community integrity can also be assured. Yeah, so when we talk about climate finance within the UN Framework on Convention on Climate Change, the COP context, it's a very specific type of finance. It's about how we mobilize private capital to flow from developed countries to emerging markets to ensure that there's more capital going to low carbon investment opportunities. There's really a few mechanisms in the UN context that can help. The first is a mechanism like the Green Climate Fund. The Green Climate Fund has to provide capital that can de-risk opportunities in energy, mobility, agriculture, the areas where developing countries need to see more private flows of capital. The second is the national development contributions, the NDC plans, basically the country strategies that are submitted to the Paris Agreement. We are entering a phase where there's going to be a second round of plans, hopefully more presented in Glasgow next year, and those plans have to have a high level of ambition, but they also have to be investable. There has to be an accompaniment of environmental objectives with investment frameworks and input from business in emerging markets to make sure that investments will flow. And then the third is really around making sure that some of the innovations that we've seen in the mainstream capital markets, for example, at Bank of America, we've been very active on the sustainable bond market, green bonds, sustainability-linked loans. These are all mainstream capital market innovations that can help attract international flows of capital into emerging markets. Now, in the case of developing countries, sometimes there needs to be public capital that can help de-risk those opportunities for the private sector. And so we need to see better engagement from the multilateral development banks and from development finance institutions to bring private sector along.